Welcome to Quality. In this video I'm going to show you how to manage custom fields, drop-down values and custom labels. Let's start in Settings under the Configuration tab. The first option is Custom Fields, where you can create personalized fields to capture additional information that isn't available by default in the tool. To create one, click Create Custom Field. You will need to fill in the following fields: the file type, where you can choose between a lot of different type files, for example text box or maybe a select. Depending on what you choose, the form will update accordingly. For example, if you select a select, a new field will appear where you enter the values that the users will be able to choose from. Then you select the project and module, which can be test scenario, test cases, defects, requirements, and you can choose many modules here, not only one. You can also give it a name, a description, to decide if this field will be required, mandatory, and if this field will be available across all projects. Let's create an example. We will add a select type file for the requirement module called product owner. The available values will be the names of the product owners, for example James, Paul and Tim. And we can add some description, for example, identifies the product owner responsible for this requirement. We will not make it mandatory and we will not make it available for all the projects. So we can click on Save. And before we go to check if this field is shown in the requirement, let me show you that in the Action section you can edit this custom field, and also you can remove or delete this custom field at any time. Now let's go to the Project Management section, then Requirements, and if we click on New Requirement or we edit an existing requirement, in Additional Details at the end of the screen we can find the product owner field that we have already created with all the options that we added here. Now let's cancel this and go back to Settings and Configuration, drop-down values. Here you can add custom values to the existing drop-downs throughout the tool. There are two ways to do this. The first is by clicking Meta. Select the file type you want to add a value to. Select the field type you want to add a value to. For example, severity, but not in the project, in the defect here, the severity. Keep in mind that severity appears in different entities, so make sure you select the correct one. In this case, defect severity. Then select the project or the projects, and in the description enter the value name, for example blocker. Click Save and it's created. Just like with custom fields, you can go to Actions and you can edit or delete this value. To confirm it works, go to Defect Management and click on New Defect and look for the severity in the Additional Details, and here is the severity field, and you will see that now you have the blocker option. The second way to add a drop-down value is directly over the field. For example, if we go to the project creation, here for example new project, and you start creating a new project, for example let's say the drop down values project, then you choose a project type, a priority low, and then in Additional Details, for example I can look for a browser that is not here, for example Brave. If I click on Add Item, this new browser is created. So if I click on Create New Project, I added a new value that was not available before. Let's go to Settings, Configurations, drop-down values. We can check that Brave option was added to the drop-down values. Finally, let's go to Configuration, Custom Labels. Custom labels are tags you can create to visually organize and categorize your test cases or other entities at a glance. Click on Create Custom Label, select the project, the module, for example, test cases, give it a name, for example, regression, and pick a color. For example, let's say a green one. Click OK and click on Save. You can create as many labels as you need, for example, performance, accessibility, functional, and so on, each label with its own color. You can also create a new custom label, for example, for the Shim app project, the defect, and mention that is an accessibility issue, and we can set the color to violet. Once your labels are set up, we can go, for example, to defect management and create a new defect. And for example, we can say that missing alt attribute in the images. Then let's add some description, additional details. We can set the severity to minor, status open in all the browsers, and here we have the custom labels. We can tag this as accessibility. So if we click Save, we have created our defect, and we can see the label, the custom label here. As I said before, if we have a large number of records, having these tags helps us to organize them and see them more clearly at a glance. So now I invite you to go to Settings and create your own configuration for custom fields, drop-down values, and custom labels. That's all for this.